Digimon Story Time Stranger is indubitably the best Digimon game we've had probably ever. We have over 450 playable Digimon, the gameplay is strategically meaningful with some challenging bosses, the story is well written and acted, I'm really into it. However, the game does not come without its faults, so I'll go over those in this video. The biggest issue I have with the game is the Digi-Farm. You can place up to 30 Digimon in this farm with the primary aim to train them, but it's so overwhelming. The user experience is extremely tedious. You cannot access the Digivolution screen within the farm, so you have to remove the Digimon, leave the Digifarm, check your Digivolution screen, place them back in the Digifarm, and then train them in whatever stat is required. This would be easily solved by adding the Digivolution screen within the Digifarm, so that I know which stats I want and how many would I need, so I know when to stop. But it is so tedious. I'm trying to keep a notebook and it's taking me like 20-30 minutes each round because I have 40 Digimon in the box, so I'm trying to see which ones to train, which ones to Digivolve, and it's just too much. The second issue with the Digifarm itself is the feeding process. Because I am training all those Digimon, I did notice a big mistake that most Digimon had 0% bond, and whenever I evolved them, even to Ultimates, they did not carry any cumulative stats. That's not the problem itself, because I can feed them in the Digifarm and they would increase the bond. However, the feeding process is so repetitive and tedious. You have to feed them one by one, wait for their reaction, and repeat. Once you figure out their favorite food, you do have to remember it and then reselect it. And I would love if the user interface showed an icon of whether they like or dislike a food based on what I've already tried. Then I would also love if I was able to feed the Digimon multiple of the same food. So let's say I select 10 Digifish so that I increase the bond to 20%. Those changes to the Digifarm would have saved me so much time because I just spent 30 minutes feeding Digimon one after another and it's tedious. The second issue that I have with the game overall is that it comes with too many DLCs. I personally got in the basic pre-order and I'm more than happy with that because I'm still getting the Digivolutions that I want and everything. But I did see a couple of negative reviews that they've gotten the Ultimate Edition, it includes Season Pass, but it does not include the Outer Dungeon DLC, and that's a bit scummy in my opinion. One can make use of these Outer Dungeons as soon as you access the first in-between theater. From these dungeons you can grind extra yen, experience, materials. I see how it can be advantageous to have and it would save time from the Digifarm grinding that I mentioned, and it would also help get materials to get the better training equipment sooner. That said, I don't necessarily think it's necessary for the main game, so I understand why it's not in the base game, but I do think at the least it could have been within the Season Pass, especially for those that intend to replay at Mega and Mega Plus difficulty. That could definitely save some time from the grinding. And I do plan on playing the Mega Plus, but I don't think I'll get the DLC at any point unless I really need it. The third issue is the Jogmon Ultimate Card Game, and I think it is clear it is designed for players that enjoy the collection aspect, and it does unfortunately leave a bit to be desired because it is a bit simplistic and basic with its gameplay, especially since it revolves around RNG. I do like that you can win a single round and still get a card to add to your collection, and that's great. That is a very cool concept and I wouldn't want to change that, so you can lose and still add cards. But the gameplay, I'm finding myself winning battles and not feeling excited. It doesn't have that payoff that, oh, I won because I played well. It definitely makes it more accessible, but it also leaves room for frustrating outcomes. You lose a game 2-3 just because of RNG and you have to replay that. It doesn't feel great, and I get why a lot of people within the comments from my last video were not very happy with the gameplay design of this part battle. I understand though that without randomness, it would have to be more advanced, especially with mechanics for tie breaking, and maybe that is why developers went for something more simple, because the alternative is way more complex. Yet that does leave a portion of players wanting more. Despite these few qualms that I have with the game, it is definitely the game that I've enjoyed the most. It is clear that Digimon can deliver high quality games worthy of playing even for those outside of the Digimon fanbase. I do sincerely hope though that the developers listen to the player base and we get an update to the Digi-Farm, because introducing the Digivolution screen, allowing me to feed multiple foods at once, those are two simple changes, in my opinion, that will leave a huge impact. I would love to hear from you in the comments on what would you change in this game. I thank you for watching, bye bye.